All right, ready to put the finish on. I've still got my cloth glove on my left hand. I've gloved up on my right hand with a disposable glove so I don't get finish on my fingers. Now I've already put finish on my instruments that are at steps 12, 11, and 10. And I always go in that order. I start putting finish there, and that's because my cloths that I use are completely dry at that point, and that instrument doesn't need a lot of finish. But as I get further down the line, the instruments need more finish. And so my cloth is what they call charged. That is, it's already got finish kind of soaked into it. So I'm using two paper towels, one for putting it on, one for taking it off. I use True Oil, love that finish. The cloths that we use, the paper towels, are the Scott Blue Original, and we find those are just the perfect paper towel. So here's the instrument all sanded up, and you know, there's, on one hand, putting on this oil is very simple, but I've seen a lot of people really mess it up. So what I'm going to do, you're going to see I'm going to work in little sections here. Now, you saw how little oil I put on, but my cloth is charged, so I don't need much. Now, I work around the entire kind of headstock, and you can see I'm not going to let it soak in. I'm going to immediately wipe it off. That's how the True Oil works. You'll think it's not building, but it is. The other thing I'm doing as I put on this finish is I'm looking very carefully for anything that needs to be fixed. I've got a pad of paper here over on my right, and I've got a shorthand method of taking notes if I see any issues. The more finish you put on, the more issues show up. So you want to be really diligent early on to just be aware of issues. What I'm saying is, don't just wipe this on. It looks easy, it looks fast, it looks like it's mindless, but I'm really concentrating, I'm looking over every square inch of this instrument. What I'm looking for again here are two things mainly. I'm looking for any orbital sanding scratches that we didn't get out by hand sanding, or earlier orbital that we didn't get out with later orbital. And those are little archy sanding scratches. They tend to be grouped together. I know there are trouble spots where I especially look for them. I didn't see any there, but what you'll see is an inconsistency in the way that the wood is taking on the finish. So I'm looking for that, and I'm also looking for glue residue. Glue residue is evident. It's an area that does not absorb any finish because the glue is blocking it. So you can see it as a distinctly different kind of tone, and you would see it along the binding. And so as I put this on, I'm really looking carefully along the binding. So you see I'm working in relatively small areas. I'm wiping it off really, really well. I think True Oil looks really ugly if you let it build, if you don't wipe it off. It is inconsistently glossy, and it looks fake and awful. Okay, again, looking for glue along the binding. Thought I might have seen a spot. This wood is tricky because it's so variegated in color tone. Sometimes it can appear that you have a little bit of a binding or a little bit of glue, but it's not. We really don't get that very often, but it is. If you have it, you want to get rid of it now. Later is tough. Also, you can see I'm looking very carefully to make sure I get full coverage. If there's a spot that you miss, it's funny, but you will see that spot forever. Char will notice it in QA, and she will write Aaron or I a nasty note.
I do not write nasty notes. I just go, hey.
All right, so when I put the finish on the back, the thing is that I'm a little worried that some of the finish off my cloth when I'm rubbing around will be wiped off and onto that binding. And it's another thing that you want to get rid of now. So I'm going to just go over it just in case. I don't even bother looking, I just get it off if it's there. Inside the rosette, carefully. I am most careful at the neck, fretboard, body, joint area. And the reason is I need to get finish all the way in. Hang on. I'm just looking, sometimes you see me move my head a little bit so I get a little bit of reflected light. And I'm looking right now for any sanding scratches, dents, dings, issues of any type. So anyway, I want to get finish in these cracks, but I really need to wipe it out. I've seen people who aren't so diligent about that, and it comes off as this little kind of shiny area in there. Again, you just saw me wipe around the binding on the side, so there's nothing there. Again, carefully in there. All right, last thing is the fretboard. If it's an ebony fretboard, we use fretboard oil from Stuart McDonald on it, but if it's a maple fretboard, you can use the fretboard oil, even though I've read you can't, but we use it. There's no problem with it, on our fretboards anyway. But I like to get on the maple just a little bit better, more protection, I guess I would say. And I think the True Oil gives it that. The ebony develops such a nice patina of use, smoothness. It doesn't need much oil at all. And you can always put more oil on. You can use fretboard oil and recharge your fretboard. All right, that's it with that. I take off my glove, get out my phone. We're done with step 9. So I shop up, camera, step 9, oops, sorry. Char on her, well, early on we get a lot of pictures of the front of the instrument, and I think step 6 is a front picture. And so this is the first time someone really gets to see the back in all its glory and with that new coat of finish on it. So I like to take a back shot. I think Aaron might take a different one. Okay, got the serial number. I have my numbers up there. 9, upload, hang them in the number 9 position, and on my whiteboard, give them a check mark for step 9 so I just like to have a lot of different ways of knowing where I am because I'm old and I'm forgetful. All right, that's it. Next up, we'll put another coat of oil on. It's going to get boring here for a while, but it moves quickly. All right, we'll see you next time.